Hey everyone, Tiffany Boyd with Free Your Children again. Can you read my shirt? It says seriously. I thought I was going to get away with not having to jump on here and do a live today to give you an update, but unfortunately here I am again. So I just received a phone call. You'll have to excuse my appearance because we just came in from a long walk and I received a phone call, which I am thankful to have received this phone call because it's information that we need. Just to let you know, the whole purpose of me getting on here right now is to let everyone know that 1214 is not dead. House Bill 1214 is not dead, and there are likely going to be some developments coming within the week. Representative Brian Ritchie is going to be doing a video about this later, and when it's posted and up, I'll share it to this event so that you can watch that as well, and he'll go into even more detail. But I want everyone to understand that there are, first off, HB 1214 has been tainted. So that means that they already know that that's the bill number that everyone's watching, and it's gotten a lot of bad publicity. And we have this rally, and it's this rally event, and it's titled HB 1214, and Senate bill has the number on there. And so there's some rumors circulating that they could potentially try to move this bill through another way, that it might be tacked on to a caption bill. Okay, so there are caption bills that are still out there that they could move it through, and they don't have to release the amendment to those bills until 24 hours before the committee meeting. So we're going to have to watch really closely to see if they try to add this to something else with another bill number. From what I'm understanding, there's really a strong, and these bills do, and you need to understand this too, it would open up, depending on where it goes, it could still potentially open up Code 49, and that's not a good thing either. So we just need to make sure that we are watching everything that's out there really, really closely, and you need to keep the pressure on Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton. You also need to specifically start contacting Representative Scott Cepicky, and you also need to contact Representative Haston and let them know that you want this bill to die. That's what we're asking for, that this bill is garbage and that you don't agree with any of it. And you need to emphasize that it's not just the homeschool aspect or the homeschool wording of this bill that concerns you and that you don't like. You need to let them know that you're not in agreement with any of this bill and you want it to die. So again, there are ways that they can move this through, and it necessarily wouldn't be House Bill 1214. So keep the pressure up, keep making phone calls to Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton. Make phone calls to Representative Scott Cepicky and tell him that you want this bill to die, and that we are watching very closely to make sure that this isn't moved around and shuffled around and moved through some other way. And also contact Representative Haston. So specifically those three, we don't need to put our guard down. We need to keep watching, and we need to keep calling and contacting and sending emails. We need to make sure that they understand that we do not want a homeschool, hybrid, charter school option. We do not want a charter school boarding facility in our communities, that we want this bill to die, to go away. What I'm hearing is they think if they manipulate the wording in this and they get away from the homeschool aspect of it, that we're all just going to go away. But as I've said in 2 other videos now, and I hope that if you haven't watched them that you will, that there's a lot in this bill. It's not just the homeschooling aspects what got all this started, because it was just a direct attack on homeschooling in general. But the more that we've read through these amendments and the more that we've read through all of this, we see that it is a direct attack on parental rights. There are parental right concerns with this, the violation of parental rights, or the government overstepping parental rights or bypassing parental rights. And then there's the aspect of the wording, the at-risk youth wording in the bill. And then, of course, there's the whole bill with the charter school aspect of it, in the respect that it's taxation without representation, and they are bypassing local control. And so the whole bill, there's just tons and tons of problems. Go back and watch the other lives that I have done, and I go into detail with all of that. But again, contact Representative Scott Cepicky. Tell him that we want this bill to die, that we don't want it coming through, any other nefarious ways and being introduced and kind of pushed through. It's very, it's interesting, and it speaks volumes that if you are ashamed to be transparent about what you're trying to get passed, and I'm just talking about this whole bill in general, it's moved way too fast. They're trying to move it way too fast. We haven't been given the necessary time to be able to give input on this. And then if they try to do something sneaky, like trying to change it and move it somewhere else or pass it through under a different number, then that just means that there's something in that legislation that you don't want the public to know. You should be proud of the legislation that you're trying to get passed if you feel like it's really a benefit to your constituents. But if your constituents are loudly telling you that you want a piece of legislation to die and you're trying to play political games and manipulate things around, then that's a problem, and we need to remember that when we vote, and we need to make sure that we call out our representatives on any type of behavior that we see that happening on. Not just this bill, but any bill. Now, has that happened yet? It hasn't happened yet as far as it being moved around and being given another number, and it may not happen. But what I'm telling all of you is you need to keep the pressure up, and we need to be watching this really closely, because there's been a lot of conversation about this bill today. There's been lots of phone calls made, clearly, where they are trying to figure out what they can do to appease us so that they can continue to move this forward. So we need to be clear in what we're asking, and that is for the bill to die. You need to keep up the pressure on Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton. You need to keep calling him. You need to ramp up the pressure on Representative Scott Cepicky and tell him that you want this bill to die, and the same thing for Representative Haston. I will post in this event when Representative Ritchie shares his video. I'll post it in the event, and I hope that all of you will watch that, and it'll go into much more detail about all of this. And we need to continue to pray if you feel led that this bill dies and goes away. And we need to, like I said, just make sure that we continue to contact our representatives. We can't stop. We have to move forward, because if they sense that we are that we've been placated and that we're kind of falling off, that's just going to encourage them, I'm afraid, to continue to try to push this legislation through. So make those phone calls. I'll try to keep you as updated as I can as I'm notified, but that's what's going on now, is that HB 1214 is not dead, and that there are still other avenues where this can be moved to try to advance this legislation with another number if they choose to do so. So those are tactics and strategies that they can use, and it seems to me that there is a very big push for this to continue to move through, because they want those charter boarding schools. So, and the fact that it opens up, if they do it a different way and it opens back up Tennessee Code 49, that's a problem, because that's where our homeschool code is as well. So just wanted to give you guys an update. Just stay apprised. We've got to stay very vigilant, and we've got to keep up the pressure. So I'm going to get off here and cook my family some supper. And if you have questions, feel free to contact me. I'll answer them the best that I can. And as soon as I have the video from Representative Ritchie, I'll post it here in the event too. Have a good rest of the day.